Before the video begins, I just want to say sorry for any extra noise. I literally cannot do anything about it. I have tried everything I can think of to do something about it, and it will not work, so just deal with the clicking for now. That's all. Thanks. Have a good video. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Vix, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about my little itty bitty passion project I've been calling Creatures of Study. So what is Creatures of Study? Creatures of Study is an idea I have that's a book series and a collection of trading cards. You might be wondering how it's both. Well, it's easier to explain if I give you my overall idea. So basically there's this science fiction show in this universe series, whatever you want to call it. The show's called Lunar Effect, and Lunar Effect is produced in very shady ways, including genetically engineering a bunch of animal-like creatures to be the non-sentient animal aliens of other planets. But whenever they finish filming with said animals, they, instead of, keeping them or killing them, they release them into the wild, and it causes the ecosystem to go, all messed up because it's introducing a bunch of new invasive species very quickly. So eventually, a young group of teens from ages about 16 to 19 discover the creatures and start taking notes on them and how they interact with the environment. That's the overall background, but how does that go into the trading cards? Well, my idea for the trading cards is that, well, first off, not a game. The trading cards are not a game. I cannot stress that enough. Secondly, the trading cards are the embodiment of the notes from the teens. So it's got a bit of a blurb of information along with whatever they decided to call the creature, along with 1 to 3 traits describing how the creatures behave in the wild, average height and weight for the species, what environment the creature lives in, and if the creature is a carnivore, omnivore, or herbivore. So who are the teens? Who's this group that discovered the creatures and was like, hey, let's actually take notes on these because this might be important? Let me tell you. So the one I should be about drawing in the background is Ryder Talith. His design has changed since this was recorded, but you'll see that in the next Creatures of Study video. Anyway, so what's his deal? First of all, Ryder is a werewolf. Kinda. In my universe, I refer to them as cananthropes, but that's because they aren't strictly wolves. They can be any sort of canine. And in this universe, there's also philanthropes, which is the same thing, but cats. Anyway, so Ryder's a cananthrope, and he lives in a desert kingdom called Sansnia. Side note, all my kingdom names might be changed. They seem a bit uncreative to me at times, so, it might change. It probably won't, but it might. Anyways, so Ryder lives in Sansnia. He's actually the eldest prince of Sansnia, and he's arranged to marry the princess of a forest kingdom of philanthropes called Felinity. Her name is Morgan Pierce. Morgan and Ryder really are just friends. They'll never feel any sort of attraction to each other, so they agreed they could live normal lives as long as they didn't damage the other's reputation. So Ryder is dating an elven noble from Sansnia named Orion Stormveil. Ryder has a younger brother named Jaspin, who's autistic and has a lot of sensory issues in regards to fabric and other clothing materials like yarn and stuff. So Ryder decided to take up sewing and other sorts of yarn crafts and whatever to help accommodate for that. Ryder has the fewest amount of notes, so his cards are a bit rarer and will be assigned the color red. The elf on the screen here is Orion Stormveil. He is the heir to the Stormveil family and is dating Ryder, as I already stated. His father is a bit abusive to his family, and Orion is the oldest of 5 siblings. As a way to rebel against his father, he dyed his hair and wears cyan and magenta constantly. Though he always wears lightning bolts or other forms of storm symbolization to symbolize that despite rebelling against his father, he will stand with his mother and sisters. His notes are not too rare as he's almost never home, and his cards are cyan and magenta. So this next time lapse doesn't align with what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna give some brief info about Jaspin. I might accidentally call him Jasper, but I only recently changed his name. So anyways, Jaspin is the second son. Jaspin is the second son of King Darius and Nessith Talith. In Sansnia, the king chooses his heir rather than it be decided by birth order. And I cannot stress this enough when I say politics is Jaspin's special interest, and making Sansnia better is Jasper's hyperfixation. But like long term, basically he's obsessed with this. He cannot stop learning everything he is able to about the political world of this fictional Earth, to the point he has a ranked list of who he should be arranged to marry based on betterment of Sansnia for when the time comes. He's the youngest of the group. He's only 16. Ryder and Orion are both 19. And Morgan, who I'll talk about in a minute, is 18. Jasper not only wants the throne, he's obsessed with obtaining it. He spends all his time studying politics and making future political and other war plans and stuff until Ryder drags him out of the palace and to find a creature that looks like a mix between a peacock and a dog. Jaspin then decided he needed to learn everything he could about all the new creatures near Sansnia, and he brings this dog thing home. Jaspin has the second most amount of notes, and his cards are colored yellow. Lastly, we should talk about Morgana, aka Morgan Pierce. Morgan is from Felinity. In fact, she is the only princess of Felinity, and she's a philanthrope. Her older brother, Felix Pierce, is also a philanthrope. I will talk more about him in the next video. Anyways, back to Morgan. So Morgan's father, Kenneth, died when she was 5. Her mother did not cope well at all. She became angry and controlling of everything Morgan and Felix did. But Felix ran away pretty early. Morgan, she did not. She didn't run away until her mother forced her to be engaged at 16 to Ryder. And even when she did run away, she went to Sansnia, where Ryder lives. So it wasn't that much of a rebellion on her part. But on her journey from Felinity to Sansnia, she encountered a lot of the creatures and started taking notes on them to fill her time so she wasn't just wandering aimlessly. She still wants She still wants to take the throne of Felinity, but she refuses to do it with a man at her side. I will let you interpret what that means. Morgan's notes are the most common, and her card color is dark blue. Anyways, that's all I have for you about the 4 main characters. In the next video, I will share more about Felix and some of the world stuff, like the races and kingdoms and whatnot. But that's all I have for today. See you next time, and leave a comment if you watched this whole video. If you want to. Bye-bye!